What's good, bro? I'm Luis Gusto. Normally on this channel, we talk about either Chicago or New York City, but today we're gonna travel to Kentucky, the bluegrass state. Over the weekend, my fiance Narissa and I traveled there because one of her cousins was getting married near Lexington. And even though I no longer do those big budget travel guides, nor those hunger-inducing food tours where we visit 10 restaurants in one day, I still like to explore the local scene of whatever city I might be visiting. With that in mind, we made a plan, and make sure you make a plan. Finesse that like button and subscribe to the page for more content just like this. And let's get into it. We flew from LaGuardia to Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. And the very first thing that I learned when stepping foot in that airport is that they don't actually say Louisville like Louisville Slugger. They say Louisville. Bit of a culture shock right off the bat, but we got our rental car and drove about an hour over to Lexington. Next, we checked into our room at the Homewood Suites. We picked that hotel specifically because not only is it in the heart of Lexington, close to local restaurants and attractions, also close to the wedding and related activities, but also because they are dog friendly. It's a must that we travel with our dog Rowdy, our Boston Terrier. He's still my little baby. You know, we just put him in the plane in his little carrier. He's a great traveler. He's been pretty much all over the United States by this point, and he absolutely loved the suite. I mean, what dog wouldn't? There's a king size bed to rest and relax on, a lot of carpet and space for him to run all around the table and play with his new toys. There's a kitchenette. We had a separate sink area, a toilet and shower area, closet. I mean, everything that you want in a hotel, including a flat panel TV mounted on the wall with that swivel mount. So we were watching MLB playoffs. Of course, the Cubs didn't end up winning the entire thing in the 2025 season, but on that day, when we watched them play San Diego, they did win. So it was a great weekend for baseball for me. After settling into the hotel room and watching the Cubs game, our next order of business was trying the local dining scene in Lexington. Now, I knew that as a college town, there would be at least a few restaurants that we'd want to try. That first night, we wanted to try a local sports bar with an Irish twist called Shamrock, but it was super crowded and we had Rowdy with us. So we went around the corner, we saw a Dave's Hot Chicken. Now, I looked it up and I saw that Dave's Hot Chicken is originally from LA, and I know that doesn't really make it a local Kentucky restaurant, but we were hungry, so we went ahead and made an exception. Plus, neither of us had had Dave's Hot Chicken. Tried their famous chicken tenders and fries. Very, very good. You can choose your spice level. I went right above the medium, which is a 6 out of 10. Super, super good. Juicy chicken. They brine it right, and the fries were good too. I'm not normally a big fan of fries, but I wanted to also try the sandwich, but they kind of messed up my order, so I just didn't say anything and enjoyed my tenders, and everything was good. After we finished up our chicken tenders and french fries, we thought, hey, you know, we're back in the Midwest, why don't we try some frozen custard? And right down the street, this was a big road with lots of restaurants, mostly chains, but some local-ish places. We found Andy's Frozen Custard. We got an Oreo concrete frozen custard with some toppings, but we got the Oreo pieces in there, so it was like a nice cookies and cream flavor. That was a perfect dessert after Dave's Hot Chicken. The next day in Lexington, we had some wedding related activities to attend, but before all that, we knew we had to get a big breakfast to prepare us for that long day. We found a local restaurant, independently run as far as I could see, called Rise and Brine Chicken and Biscuits. It's only one location. It had really great Google reviews, so we went there first thing in the morning. That's why my hair is a little bit disheveled still, but we ordered 2 of their most popular menu items. We got the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, also the OG, piece of fried chicken, breaded up and brined, slice of cheddar cheese on there, also on a biscuit. When we got there, the restaurant was pretty empty, but the staff was super friendly and it just felt like a chill environment overall. We were definitely happy to get our choice of seat near the window. You know, gotta get that good lighting whenever we're filming a little bit of food content. For me, the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit is the quintessential breakfast sandwich. I mean, there's not another breakfast sandwich that I love more. And I like a lot of breakfast sandwiches. This one is just so good for me. A lot of nostalgia in there. And this one, it hit the mark. Perfectly flavored. The biscuit was nice and soft. It was hearty, a little bit of chew chew to that, and the flavor, super on point. Not to mention the sausage, egg, and cheese, all perfectly done. It was a 10 out of 10 sandwich. I know that if we lived in Lexington, this is a place that we would come to very often. In terms of the OG sandwich, the fried chicken on a biscuit with some cheddar cheese, that was also very good, but it was a little bit more of a brunch lunch item in my opinion, not something that I necessarily want first thing in the morning. I honestly thought it was gonna be more like the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit breakfast sandwich, which is a little bit differently spiced, I guess, and it's a smaller piece of chicken. Don't get me wrong, I loved this sandwich. It was very good, but I wanted to be in more of a lunchtime mood to eat it, if that makes any sense. But regardless, we had to try their chicken. I mean, that's the name of the restaurant, right? Chicken and biscuits. You can't go there and just try the biscuits. That would be foolish. For whatever reason, the biscuit on the chicken sandwich was a little bit harder, not quite as soft and bouncy as the first one, but maybe I chalk that up to some quality control. Maybe it was baked a little bit earlier. I have no idea. It was still good. Just not a 10 out of 10 for me like the egg, cheese, and sausage biscuit. And of course, you know, first thing in the morning, I had to get my coffee. So I got me a nice big cold brew, black, hashtag no cream, no sugar. And you know what? It was pretty decent. After our phenomenal breakfast slash brunch at Rise and Brine Chicken and Biscuits, we headed to a Kentucky institution known as Keeneland. This is a historic racetrack. I believe it's on the National Register of Historic Places. And you know, it's all about that horse racing. So this was a wedding activity. Family and friends of the bride and groom were gonna meet up here to bet on some horses, watch the action, get some drinking, a little snacking, a little party before the party. And you know, a brother like me is always down for a party. So I put on my best Kentucky Derby inspired fit, and you know, we looked at the horses. They looked pretty majestic. They definitely don't skip leg day over there at Keeneland, I can tell you that much. The jockeys seemed pretty cool too. I liked their fits. Maybe not necessarily something that I would wear, but I did notice that one of the jockeys had the Puerto Rican flag on his fit, so that was pretty cool. We walked all around Keeneland. We saw the various bars, the little mini restaurants. There was a lot of horse racing on the TV. We checked out a couple of the races. Didn't put any money down because I just wasn't really feeling like a gambler that day. Maybe next time though. I'll tell you what though, my fit was a hit, and I'm so glad that I was able to wear that at such a historic place like Keeneland. If you're a horse racing fan, you owe it to yourself to go to this track. After a couple of hours of horse racing, I worked up an appetite, so we finally got our chance to go to the Shamrock Bar. As a Gator, I was a little bit scared that this was gonna be, you know, all UK Wildcats and they were gonna roast me for being a Gator, but you know what? It was actually a very friendly environment. Now this is a typical sports bar, and we knew that coming in, so we wanted to order classic sports bar food items and dishes. We started with the beer battered onion rings. We got ourselves a patty melt with sauteed onions and provolone cheese on rye bread. My favorite part of the meal was the potato skins. These were perfectly done. And the reason that I ordered them was, number one, I'm a potato skins fan. We make them at home sometimes before we watch Bears games on the big screen behind me. We also know that it's very difficult to find good potato skins. It just, I don't know what it is. It seems so simple, right? You got potato, you got cheddar cheese, you got bacon bits, and some nice sour cream to like slather on top. But for whatever reason, so many places get it wrong. How? Tell me in the comments, because I don't know. Let me tell you, bro, these were some of the best potato skins I've ever had in my life. I felt like a kid again, going to the local sports bar in South Florida, being forced to watch the Miami Dolphins, but enjoying those classic potato skins, mozzarella sticks, sometimes fried zucchini. The whole meal was delicious. I loved every bite of it. Now after that, I needed a second helping of coffee, so we went over to a local Kentucky coffee place called 7 Brew. I got myself another cold brew, and you know what? I was actually a little bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. They are known for their razzle-dazzle lineup of drinks with ice cream and chocolate drizzles and fudge and all that. I don't play like that. You know, it's hashtag no cream, no sugar for me. The wedding was taking place the next day, but we still had time to grab a good breakfast. So we went to another local darling restaurant known as Bo's Cafe. I got the breakfast burrito, which was very good. Narissa got a nice stack of pancakes. Once again, I got the cold brew. Narissa got a chai latte. And it's not that I'm obsessed with cold brew. Well, maybe I am. I do make it here at home as well. But I just feel like cold brew is really difficult to mess up. It's kind of like pizza, where like even a bad slice of pizza is still actually kind of good. You can get some really nasty drip coffee. Trust me. That's why people slather the cream. I figured that one out early. But cold brew, you know, it's a slow grind and it's just tough to mess up, in my opinion. Again, this cold brew was fine. Nothing phenomenal. I wasn't like, oh my God. It was just okay. The breakfast burrito was really good and the pancakes were good too. If I had a slight criticism, everything was maybe a touch too greasy, but the service was great. Everybody was super friendly. It was a cool environment. Definitely a nice local spot to hang out and get some brunch items. They also had some cool dessert / sweet options, but we weren't really going with that since we already had the pancakes, you know. After our great breakfast at Bo's Cafe, we headed on over to a local used video game store and a cool retro arcade. But I talk more about those things in my other vlog on my gaming channel. So if you love retro video games, playing them, talking about them, all that great stuff, be sure to visit Luis Gusto Games and subscribe. Overall, our trip to Lexington, Kentucky was successful. We had fun. The wedding and related activities were all great. It was cool to catch up with family and friends. And we got to try some local Kentucky things. That was cool. Rise and Brine Chicken and Biscuits, Bo's Cafe, the Shamrock Pub and Grill. Everything was cool. We enjoyed our food. Maybe not the healthiest fare ever, but still delicious, mouth-watering comfort food. I'm always down for some of that. We also got to see some of the local sites, you know, engage in a little bit of Kentucky culture with the horse racing. Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to dabble in the bourbon scene, you know, do that whole bourbon trail because I was driving everywhere. We rented a car and I had to drive. And you know me, I'm responsible. No drinking, no driving, okay, man? So make sure you finesse that like button and subscribe to the page for more content just like this. I got lots more cool vlogs coming. I appreciate you watching, bro, and hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Peace.